Today we're going to be in the AMX 13 FL11, guys, this new Tier 5 premium French light tank, and I'm not a fan of this thing. I gotta be honest with you guys, like, I really think it's kind of underpowered. It's not the worst tank I've ever played by any means, it's just very, very, very slow. So what I did is I played one game in it, actually. This is the second game that I've played, but I played one game in it to start, obviously, and realized that it needed the bounty turbo. So I took the bounty turbo off of my Covenanter and I put it on this thing. And it's a lot better that way. I run it with the bounty turbo, optics, and binocs, and that's how I've been running it. But I highly suggest you run turbo on this thing. I'm telling you, it's just the power to weight ratio is so bad on this tank. It's basically like the AMX ELC, but it's like twice as heavy with only like maybe a quarter more of the power or something like that. Someone was trying to compare that for me, but that's what it feels like, dude. Like, this thing almost accelerates like a medium, guys. It is so brutally slow that I highly recommend you run the bounty turbo on it. That's just my suggestion. I know a lot of people don't always like to lose a slot to bounty turbo, but it's worth it for this vehicle, or turbo, right? So run that and you'll be better off, I think, in this vehicle. The gun is okay, guys. Again, I have to keep in mind this is a tier 5 tank, and most tier 5s are not that great. Compared to the Covenanter, though, I have to say I love the Covenanter over this tank, and I would even argue that I would rather play the A20 over this thing. It's a good tank, man. It's not bad. It's just the gun is not great. It's decent, right? But it's not great. The view range is okay and all, but the mobility is what kills me, guys. Like, the mobility is just so bad on this thing, and also I find that it might be very fragile. I can't say for certain yet. Again, I've only played, I think, total up to this point, maybe 3 battles in this tank. This was the second one I played. The first game I played, I took 2 shots towards the end of the battle. The first 2 shots I took, the engine crapped out both times. And I'm not talking, like, I'm not saying that it went to 50%. I'm saying dead in the water. Like, both times I got hit, I was dead. Like, the engine was fried, right? So I don't know, I've been seeing people get racked and lit on fire. I think this thing is very fragile, so I would also just warn you to be cautious about that, right? Like, just be very, very cautious about getting hit in this thing anywhere, man. Like, try and stay safe until the end of the battle so you don't get lit on fire and crap, because it just seems like this vehicle is very, very, very fragile. So this is going to be on Live Oaks, by the way, guys, and we're getting to a point here where I'm pretty sure we're going to win the East, but it's tier 5. Like, it's such a casual tier that I'd like to just do some damage here. So I'm kind of hanging around the base with most other people, and just seeing what this tank can do, right, in terms of the gun and stuff. Like, I'm telling you, it's not awful, guys. I don't want you to think this tank is awful. It's a premium, right? Like, it's supposed to be pretty good, and I don't feel like it has anything special going for it over any of the other tanks. I just really don't. In fact, I would even argue that it might even be slightly worse just because of its mobility. However, I will note one more thing. You can ram people in this tank. Because it's so heavy, yes, it's a light tank, but you can actually ram people. Like, if you're ramming lighter mediums or other light tanks, you can hit people. Like, you can really, like, when you ram them, it's not like you're going to do 0 damage like you're in your even 90 or AMX ELC BIS, right? It's just not the case. You will do damage just because of the weight of this tank, right? So we're poking up here. I'm trying to spot as many people as I can here for the enemy team, but you guys know how Live Oaks works. Like, we really just have to do damage here. That's how this side of the map is going to go anyway for now. Like, we can't really spot much anymore, so I'm just doing damage. And you can see the gun hits fairly hard. Like, the alpha damage is not bad at tier 5, man. It's really not. We're able to clean up the T14 here, I believe. Hit him for, it looked like a low roll, actually. But the APCRs, man, they do 100, so each shell does 110 damage, and then the APCRs are 148 millimeters of pen, and the standards are 108. 148 millimeters of pen at tier 5, man, on the APCRs, that's actually pretty gosh darn good. So the pen is actually decent on it, so I would say if this thing has anything going for it, it's probably the gun. The aiming time is not awful on the gun, the dispersion is about average, but the pen seems to be good, and the gun behaves for the most part for me, guys. It does. Like, I don't seem to have many issues with the gun. It's just the mobility, man. Like, I'm very, very bad at adjusting to tanks that don't have mobility, right? Like, I love to have mobility, guys, and I don't just mean like being sort of quick. Like, I want to be doing 70 kilometers an hour in every single light tank, like, and I want to be accelerating quickly. I like torquey, fast light tanks, man, because I'm one of those people that a lot of times I will bite off more than I can chew. I know I tell you guys I'm a pretty passive player, but with the really fast tanks, you can get away with more things because you can get out of trouble faster, right? So watch this. You guys know how heavy the Matilda is, right? Watch me ram the Matilda here. It's not that fast, but watch. I'm just going to ram him here, kind of testing it. And I take 46 damage, and I actually do a little bit of damage to him on the ram as well. I don't think it showed it, but that's an example of that. You can actually like ram people in this thing, right? Like, I wouldn't go ramming every tank, but if you see, like, for instance, an M5 Stort or something like that, just go for it, right? Like, it doesn't hurt to just ram these people. And I think I even rammed the Gorilla at the end here. You'll see that. So we're going after the Gorilla here, guys, and I get a nice ram into him, and you'll notice how heavy this thing is when you ram people. You can just tell by like the damage and the way the tank, like watch how effective my ram was on the Gorilla there. Like, I totally just pushed this guy, and if you try to do this in an even 90 or something, I mean, you're not going to go anywhere. But you can see like how big this tank really is. It looks from a distance, right? And when you first see the tank, maybe in that picture, the new picture that comes up when you start World of Tanks, or even when you're looking at it, I think they have it in the garage, right? Like in the corner. It looks like a small tank, but dude, this thing's freaking big. Like, this is a big tank, man. It is not a little AMX ELC, dude. Like, compared to the, look at it compared to the Gorilla. Like, it's even bigger than the Gorilla. So, yeah, man. It really, honestly, to me, looks like the Duck. It looks like the tier 5 version of the AMX 40, almost. Like the way the turret is at this little hatch. I mean, it is French, right? But that's it, guys. I mean, nothing really more to note here. I hit this guy with an HE shell and then rammed him. He shot himself. Like, I'm telling you, man, like, I know people really hate when I make fun of arty players, but like, this is why I do this, guys. Like, this guy literally shot himself. Like, what is this guy doing, man? It just makes me laugh, guys. I don't know. I get it. I get a kick out of it. But I got 6 kills, guys. I really wanted to bring the first game I played to you guys, but it was so bad, man. It was 3 minutes, guys. I think the game was between 3 and 3.5 minutes long. And again, the first 2 times I got hit, the engine went out, and I think I did like 3 shots of damage and like maybe 100 spotting or something like that. It just wasn't good enough, of a game to really give you guys a detailed overview and review of the tank. I want to show you guys a decent game. Doesn't mean I have to be like a stat padding, crazy person to show you a good game. I just want to show you a game that's going to make the tank look decent and give you a good understanding of how it plays, how it reacts, and whatever, right? And I can tell you it doesn't react quickly. Like, don't try and, poke with this thing like it's a really light wheelie or something. It's very slow, man. Like, it just doesn't have the torque to really get up and go. But if you put the bounty turbo on it, guys, I think you will do better. So here we go, 6 kills on Live Oaks. Let's get into the end plates, and then I will let you guys go. But overall, guys, I don't mind the tank. I don't. I think it's pretty good. I know a lot of people are going to be reviewing it, and I'm sure people want to see what I think of it. And again, to me, it's just an average tank. Again, Bounty Optics, Bounty Turbo, Binox. I was running it with the standard optics, but I figured if I'm pulling my Bounty Turbo off of my Covenanter, I might as well just pull off the Bounty Optics as well. And the concealment's also good, guys. That's another thing. Like, I actually don't even run low noise exhaust on it because I have 36% concealment, and I burned a couple crew books, and this is what my crew looks like. So I have just the like basically 1.5 or 1 3/4 skills on these 2 guys, and then I use one of the personal manuals that I got from I think the Battle Pass, and that got this guy up enough almost to get 3. So that's the way I'm running the crew. First class game, guys. 1,037 damage, 6 kills, 977 spotting, Top Gun. A really good second game. My first game was utter crap. And yeah, you can see here 2 battles, 50% win rate, 743 damage average. So that first game brought me way down, man. Well, didn't really bring me anywhere because it was my first game, but this game brought me way up, and I'm glad that I had a good second game. So I'll probably keep playing it a little bit maybe, but it's definitely not a tank. Like, if I'm going to play a tier 5 light tank, it's going to be between the Covenanter and the A20 almost every time, right? Um, and that's just my honest opinion on it, guys. Like, I wouldn't take this thing out of the garage, and I really, really think it's just the mobility, man, and the fact that it just seems really fragile, right? That's my honest opinion on it, guys. I think it's too slow and it's too fragile to hold the title of being a tier 5 premium, right? Like, this is a premium light tank. Premium tank, just to say, like, premium tanks are usually better than their counterparts, I believe is the correct term. But hey, man, it's a free tank that pretty much everybody is going to acquire. So if they made it OP, like, yeah, that probably wouldn't be great at tier 5. You really don't want to put a really OP tier 5 tank, such as the LEFH at tier 5, man, because it just makes things brutal for the newer players, right? That's all, boys and girls. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will catch you for the next one. Take care. Bye bye.